Hello and welcome back to the Shutter Sports Refresh. This is the weekly show that keeps you in the loop with everything that's going on in sports. I'm your host Finn Noel, and let's get started. We'll start off with Week 10 of NFL that finishes up tonight with a Monday Night Football match. Over this weekend, there were some crazy games, including the Carolina Panthers and New England Patriots winning their third games of the season. The Patriots got their win on a whopping 19-3 win over the Chicago Bears. In another surprising loss, the Atlanta Falcons got taken down by their rivals, the New Orleans Saints, 20-17. Another close game was the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Washington Commanders, and the Commanders have been very hot this year but got taken down by the even hotter Steelers and Russell Wilson as their quarterback. The Kansas City Chiefs stayed undefeated after defeating the Denver Broncos. San Francisco 49ers take down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a close one. And the Detroit Lions picked up a win after their quarterback Jared Goff had an atrocious first half. They kept the opponent's Houston Texans scoreless in the second half and came back to win the game. That's it for the NFL, but as always, tune back next week because there's always more games. Moving over to the NBA now, the story of the league are the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 11-0, still undefeated. Not far behind the Cavaliers in second place in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics. The rest of the Eastern Conference is not doing so well though, they're all hovering around 500. The two surprisingly poor teams so far are the Milwaukee Bucks and Philadelphia 76ers. Those two teams are 14th and 13th in the standings respectively. Contrarily though, in the Western Conference, the competition is extremely tough. Really solid teams like the Dallas Mavericks, San Antonio Spurs, and New Orleans Pelicans are all outside of the play-in tournament right now. A feel-good story in the Western Conference is the Denver Nuggets, who after struggling to start the season have now won 5 in a row and are turning their season around. And that'll be it for our NBA news this week. We'll move to the NHL now and give you your hockey news. In the Atlantic Division, the Toronto Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers are both on multi-game winning streaks and sort of have the 1 and 2 spots in that division wrapped up. In the Metropolitan Division, it's a similar situation, but there's 4 teams ahead of the pack. Those 4 teams are the New Jersey Devils, Washington Capitals, New York Rangers, and Carolina Hurricanes. In the Central Division is the Winnipeg Jets, who have still only lost 1 game all season, incredibly impressive. The Minnesota Wild are also making their mark. And finally, in the Pacific, we have the Los Angeles Kings, Vegas Golden Knights, and Vancouver Canucks that have all had great starts to their season. And that'll be it for our hockey news. College basketball started up this past month, and there's already been some really exciting games. None bigger though than the blue blood matchup between Kansas and North Carolina. This game ended up being a 3-point win for Kansas. College football also had an exciting week. Georgia lost their second game of the year this week by 18 points, which is a big margin. They were taken down by Ole Miss. Indiana also took down Michigan, and so did Alabama to LSU. We had Penn State dominating over a frustrating Washington squad, and BYU is continuing to push into the playoffs with a 1-point win over the Utes. Some exciting news in Canadian football as the 2024 Grey Cup goes down next week. For those who don't know, that's the Canadian Super Bowl. This game is a rematch of the 2022 Grey Cup and is the Toronto Argonauts against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Make sure to tune in next week and we'll let you know who won the Grey Cup. The Champions League is officially halfway through, and here are the standings so far. Included in the top 8 are some big names like Liverpool, Barcelona, and Inter. But there's also some surprising names like Sporting Lisson of Portugal, Brest from the French League, and Aston Villa in 8th. If those teams keep up their good play, they'll all get a bye into the round of 16. Play resumes on November 26th to complete the Champions League stage. For our last piece of news today, we have some exciting UFC news. This Friday, it's UFC 309 in New York. The headliner is Jon Jones facing off against Stipe Miocic. After returning to the UFC in March of 2023, Jon Jones is undefeated and is looking to defend his heavyweight title against Miocic here. Once again, tune back next week and we'll have the results for you right here. And that's it for the Shutter Sports Refresh this week. I really hope you enjoyed and I hope that you learned something. Again, tune back next week for all of the sports news. I've been your host Finn Noel, and you can follow me on social media right here. Also make sure to check out Shutter Sports Media, they'll be here as well. And finally, the writer for this episode, my good buddy Lucky Roberts, he's right down here. Thanks for watching.